Alright, so here we're trying to find the first three terms of an arithmetic sequence when we're only given two terms out of the whole sequence. So that could be the first and second, or, 100 millionth and 4 billionth term, just any two random terms. So in this example, they've given us the fifth term, which is equal to 38, and the ninth term, which is equal to 26. And again, sometimes to help visualize what's going on here, if we think about making up a table for ourselves, term numbers at the top, what they've done is they've given us, they've given us term number 5, and they've said it's equal to 38. So we could fill in this table. We don't know the first few, but we know that term number 5 is equal to 38, so we would put 38 down here. And we know that term 9, so the ninth term, is equal to 26. And what they're trying to get us to figure out to do is, what are these first three terms? We don't know what they are. So in order to do it, we have to go through a few steps. And our first one is going to be to try to find what our d value is for the formula. So we can kind of try to think about it logically what we need to do. I'm trying to figure out, what is my constant difference? What am I plussing or minusing? Am I going up by 4 each time or down by 4 each time? And I might just notice here that term 5 is 38 and term 9 is 26. So I'm expecting I should get a negative number. It should be decreasing actually between these. But I'm trying to figure out, what do I have to step in to get from 38 down to 26 in 1, 2, 3, 4 steps? So one way to do this is actually to do some math. So let's find the difference between the two terms we were given. And we always want to start with the bigger n minus the littler n. So what I mean by that is, as an example, if I was given term 12 and term 20, I would do term 20 minus term 12 because 20 is bigger than 12. So in our case, term 9 is the bigger or the later term in the sequence. I'm not worried about the value of it, but the actual n number here. So T9, that's a bigger n than T5, so I'm going to start with that. I'm going to say 26 is minus 38. So 26 minus 38 is a difference of negative 12. It's okay that it's negative. Again, we thought that the sequence should be decreasing. And I need to think about, I have to go from term 5 to term 9, I have to decrease by 12. How do I do that in 4 even steps? So I need to break up that negative 12 by 4. So I need to think as well, another way to look at it is find out how many steps are between the two terms. So I counted here, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. I can also look and notice that that's 9 and 5. So this was, write it out here what we actually plugged in, this was T9 minus T5. Another way to look at that is 9 minus 5 using the n values gives me 4, a step difference of 4. So I need to take 4 steps between the two. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get that counting, or by subtracting 9 from 5. So 4 steps. So again, if I need to break up negative 12 into 4 steps, I can use divide. So negative 12 divided by 4 equals negative 3. So each of these steps needs to be going down by 3. So minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. And that will get me to go minus 12 between them in even steps. So I now know that my d is negative 3. That's what we've just figured out. d is equal to negative 3. I'm going to go minus 3 between every single term. The next thing I'm going to ask to do is pick one of the given terms. It doesn't matter which one we do. We could use this one, or we could use this one. I might use the T5 is equal to 38, just cause. And what I'm talking about here is the matching n to the T sub n. So remember that T5 is n is equal to 5, and the term value of the fifth term is 38. So here, if I have T5 is equal to 38, I know that n is equal to 5. That's my n right there, the little number underneath. So I now know d, T5, and n. I'm going to plug them into the formula. So I'm going to plug them in. My formula, if you don't have it memorized, grab your formula sheet. But it should be T sub n is equal to a plus n minus 1 bracket times by d. So I'm going to plug in what I know. I'm going to say instead of t sub n, I'm going to actually pick a value for n. Let's use 5. So I'm going to use the 38. T sub 5 is equal to 38. So 38 is equal to something I don't know. I don't know what the first term is. I don't know what a is. I'm trying to figure it out. Plus 5 minus 1 times d, which is negative 3. Because it's a negative number, you can put a bracket around it if you like. So if we plug this all into our formula, into Solver, using Solver on your calculator, or using algebra, you should get a is equal to 50. And remember, a is equal to the first term, or another way to write that is t1, 1 being the first term. So I now know that my first term is 50. Now from that, I need to figure out what my second and third terms were by either adding or subtracting the d value that I've figured out. So I know that my d is negative 3. I'm going down by 3 between each term. So if I start at 50, 50 minus 3 is 47, and then 47 minus 3 is equal to 44. So I should have 47 and 44. So my first three terms, the answer would be 50, 47, and 44 for my first three terms. Okay, and then just double check, has this actually made sense? 50, and I'm decreasing, I'm getting smaller. I'll get smaller, I'll eventually hit 38, and I'll eventually hit 36. If you want to, you could do one more subtraction in there. 44 minus 3 gets us to 41, minus 3 gets us to 38, so I know I'm actually fitting them all in there correctly. So pay attention to that d, whether it's a positive or negative, and just does your answer actually make sense here? So if that's enough for you, feel free to stop and get on to practice some of these. I'm going to do one more example for anybody who needs it. So find the first four terms in the arithmetic sequence with the given terms. You'll notice this example here is actually a bit different. Because they've given you the first terms, you actually know what a is equal to. Remember that t1 is also equal to a, so a is equal to 6. So you can think your way through this one. It'll be a slightly different setup. But again, if you imagine what's going on, I've got my first term is 6, and then all the way out here I've got my 8th term is 34. So the difference between them is 34 minus 6, always taking the bigger term number, so 8 is the bigger term. 34 minus 6 gets me to 28. And the steps between 1 and 8 would be 8 minus 1, which gives me to 7. So I need to break 28 up into 7 steps, which is 4. So my d is 4. And here it's positive, I'm increasing. So t1 is equal to 6, t2 is equal to 6 plus 4 is 10, t3 is equal to 10 plus 4, which is 14, and t4 is equal to 18 by adding another 4 on there. So here I didn't have to use Solver because they've been nice and given me the very first term. As another example over here, here I've been given term 6 and term 12. So again, if you need to, you can visualize that. I've got a bunch of terms in there. Then I've got 6, and it's got a value of 15. And I've got a bunch more terms up to the 12th term, and it's got a value of 27. Here I notice that my terms are increasing. My numbers from term 6 up to term 12 get bigger. So I'm going to find the difference between the two using the bigger term number first. So that's going to be 27 minus 15. Because 12 is bigger than 6. 27 minus 15 is going to get me to 12. And then I need to figure out, I've got a difference between these of 12. How many steps do I need to break it up into? And the difference between 12 and 6 is equal to 6. So I've got 6 steps between them. So I'm going to take the 12 and break it up into 6 steps. I get 2. That's my d. d is equal to 2. Picking one of my terms because I don't know my first term here, so I'm going to use this pair here. T sub 6 is equal to 15, which means that n is equal to 6 because I'm using this one, t6. So I'm going to plug into my formula and say 15 t sub 6 is equal to a, which I don't know, plus in this case, which is 6 minus 1, times 2. Plug that into Solver, or use your algebra. So 6 minus 1 is 5, times 2 is 10, take away 10 on both sides, you get 5 is equal to a. So you know your first term is equal to a, so we could write out an answer here if you want. Like this. First, second, third, and fourth terms are what they're looking for. A is always my first term, that's 5. And then I need to go plus 2 on each of those, so it's 5, 7, 9, 11. So those are your answers. Give a go. Let me know if you have any questions.